Hello, besties! Welcome to Martinis with Eddie, your ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncork the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV shows. And as you can see, Sty is still there. I even Googled, can I put some makeup on it? Because I do have a guest tonight, and I'm not gonna be rude to wear sunglasses. I'm not trying to be undercover famous podcaster like I pretend to be last time. Uh, so I Googled if I could put some makeup on it, and Google said like, don't be that bitch because you're gonna get more infected. So there it is, still alive, but it's almost gone. So I'm happy about that. Tonight, I have a guest that I'm so excited to have on my podcast because he loves Bravo just as much as I do. He's the co host of the Dumpster Dive. Let me bring to the stage Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Eddie. What's up?
How are you?
Doing good. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here because you have one mission tonight. Your
One
mission
mission. Okay.
is,
Yeah,
yeah,
go
you
for it.
need to prove to the world that not all Tom in the Bravo universe are trash.
Okay, sure. It's been hard to be me in the past little bit. It has. Well, for a while, honestly. It's been hard to be me. Tom D'Agostino, Tom Girardi, Tom Schwartz, Tom Sandoval. The list, I'm sure we'll meet another Tom. I,
Oh
I think
yeah.
honestly, I just can never go on Bravo because I would be destined for failure if I went on Bravo myself.
You're in the Tom's category from the beginning. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Revenol from Solid
Oh,
Charm,
how could we forget?
the most toxic Toms overall.
Yeah, I block him out. The racist drug fueled Thomas Ravenel. I block him out of my brain.
I
Although
actually got into a fight with him over the weekend.
this weekend,
This weekend.
oh well, what happened? Is he gonna watch this?
No, he's not. He probably won't even know what's happening. But he decided to he likes attention. He is like a 60-year-old man who still believe he's like in his 20s or like in
Mhm.
college and stuff. So he went on a kind of like very racist commentary on Leva on his Twitter.
Oh,
So
I saw that come up that he was coming for her.
yeah, and I I mean, for some reason, I was scrolling and I saw the post, and I quote him saying, like, "Sir, you are a racist, and you're not entertaining," because he called Leva boring. And then if you read the comment, he went into like her ethnicity and how she's playing the race card and all this stuff. So, like, sir, you are a racist. You are somebody who was allegedly a rapist, and also you were not entertaining on TV. You were toxic. So take several seats. I'm not lying to you. 2 seconds later, he blocked me, and then since he got fired, and I said that you got fired from the show. You have no voice to be calling people boring because obviously they don't want you. So he blocked me. Then somebody sent me a screenshot of him saying that people are coming for him and that he was going to delete the post, and he deleted the post. But it was too late. People screenshot it. It went on like
Yeah, of
page
course.
6 and all this stuff. So he's a loser.
He's a loser. The only reason he stayed on the show was because of his disastrous life, not because he was like entertaining himself.
Entertaining.
No, not at
I
all.
actually he like I remember every single time that he said something racist or something really freaking disgusting, and I'm like,
Mhm.
dude, like you that's why they keep you around.
I will never forget though that one party he threw where he got like blackout and he just dragged everyone. That was just one thing that he did that was hilarious, but it wasn't hilarious in the way that he thought it was. Like
Yeah.
I think he felt vindicated when we were all just laughing at him. But that was crazy. And do you remember his like the gay that was like on there? He was like a 50-year-old gay that was at that party, always wasted around the Ravenols, and I can't.
Yeah, he was like he was Patricia's gay first, and then she
Yes.
became Catherine's gay for like a half
Right.
minute, and that's why he was at the dinner. and he also got red, and then everyone got red. I mean, that
It was
scene is
good.
so wild.
It was good. And I think he did read, I think the most accurate one he did is he read Shep and was like, you're a nobody and just live off your parents' dime or something like that. And everyone was like, well,
I mean, it's a read. You're not lying
well,
there.
that's not that much of a reach.
Yeah, I'm just happy that he's off the show because he's toxic. I'm excited for this new season.
When
I'm
does it
really
come back
excited.
again?
September 14th. I
Oh,
mean,
that's soon.
yeah, it's like next week. I am a big fan of non-housewife shows on Bravo.
Mhm.
Like I watch every single one except Below Deck. For some reason, I had never gotten into Below Deck, but everything else, like I love Family Karma, Southern Charm, Southern Hospitality, Summer House, Winter House. Like those are my shows. Obviously, Housewife just like it's like a staple, but sometimes people ignore how awesome the non-housewife shows are.
Yeah, it's fun. I really did. I like liked the last season of Southern Charm. I thought it was fun and kind of dumb and ridiculous. And in terms of Below Deck, I'll say I always say this to people. I think Below Deck will find you when you need it, like in a hotel somewhere. It'll just be on, and then all of a sudden, it's a hotel show for me. Like if it's because it's always playing on Bravo. Like if they don't have something playing, they're playing Below Deck. And so you will find it in a hotel on a vacation somewhere and be like, wait, okay, this show's actually kind of addicting. Because it's not even that good. It's just like the premise is so bingeable because it's formulaic. It's like people on the boat get on the boat, they are a drunk disaster, they leave and tip them. What's the tip going to be? After they tip them, everyone goes out, gets blackout, hooks up, and then we do it all over again. So you just kind of like are like in this cycle of like watching it, and it's comforting. I don't. I'm not like an avid viewer where I tune in every week, but like I'll binge it on a weekend to catch up.
The only thing that I know that is actually really good about watching Below Deck is that you don't have to watch previous seasons to get it because like
Yes,
each season is a different cast or like at least like they
or mostly
rotate
it's like
casters. Yeah,
75% new. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. And I actually was going through Twitter a couple of weeks ago, and somebody kept posting picture of like all these like really hot guys in speedos. I'm like, maybe I should start Below Deck because the content seemed really really interesting.
The content is very interesting. Yeah, the men are hot, mostly.
I mean, if you work in a boat, you are probably like working out 24/7. Like even if you don't go to a gym, you're lifting like heavy boxes, moving like
Totally.
parts of a boat. So you always like being physical. So like, I'm pretty sure like all those guys have like sick ass bodies for that reason.
Mostly. The only thing that combats it is their binge drinking, which can kind of do crazy things to the body.
Yes, and to the mind because God
Well, that
knows.
that as well.
I mean, blacking out, it's so crazy. I mean, I haven't blacked out in a very long time, but I was so wasted during BravoCon. It was like insane.
That's a. I have not either, but I feel like that's a safe space to do that in.
Are you going to BravoCon this year?
No, I'm not. It's just I get nervous about flying too close to the sun with like the housewives and meeting them. I like to kind of be a voyeur and sit back like and just kind
Uh-huh.
of observe what's going on. The the reason to go for me would be to like see people that listen to the pod, also meet other podcasters and meet those types of people. But interacting with the Bravo Lebs freaks me out a little bit.
Okay. Well, that honestly, the
But
last year,
I support you. It's just I think it was stressing me out a little bit.
last year, the best part of the whole experience, obviously, meeting Bravo Labs or Bravo Labs that I had spoken to like, occasionally, it was fun. But meeting the other content creators, it just like takes this experience to a whole different level.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you are with people who love to watch the same shows. To we nobody else understand this unless you're watching Bravo. Like we have like a
Totally.
different language. So that's the fun part, and like meeting like the people who like you said, like people who listen to our podcast or like follow our Instagram and like, hey, you're that guy who is always cursing out on your podcast. Like, yeah, I'm that guy.
You're that guy dragging Thomas Ravenel. Like
Oh
that's me.
god,
Yeah.
that's me. I mean that's all I want in my life, to make sure people know that I'm that guy who's always dragging Thomas Ravenel for being a racist.
Honestly, that's okay. He is a very obvious person to drag. So,
Oh my gosh. What show you watching that is airing now that you think is like one of your favorites? Like let's start with like, we are watching New York, Salt Lake City just started, Orange County's been airing. They actually filming the reunion right now. Like what show you think is like, okay, this is like the most to watch right now?
I think probably the one that I'm loving the most is, well, the Salt Lake City premiere last night was, or 2 nights ago, was amazing. And
Yes.
I have a kind of a mixed relationship with those ladies because I get frustrated with them because they just all hate each other so much that I find it hard to watch sometimes. But I did love the premiere. But to be honest, I feel like it's controversial to say that you like the new Roni, but it's like a new show that feels very comforting to me.
I love it.
Good. I'm happy to hear you love it. I get nervous because some people are so defensive of old Roni, and I'm like, let's bring on this energy. I love to see the wealth. I love to see petty fights, and I think we just also have to give everyone, all these women, their space to like get to build somewhere because you know old school. Like I watched season 1 of Roni recently for the podcast. We were doing something, and not a lot happens on it. Like you're just captivated by these personalities in that era.
Yes.
And so we're in a new era where that version of a housewife or a woman in her like late 40s, early 50s is they're just it's a different woman than it used to be in New York
Yes.
City. And I'm loving these ladies. And also you and I know the city really well, so that's probably half the reason. Especially because they are actually going places that like I know. Before,
Exactly.
if you don't live in New York and you watch it, it all seems a little aspirational. But what you have to realize is like old Roni, they went nowhere that anyone went unless you were like above the age of like 56.
It's
But now
true.
they're going to like the hot spots. I'm like, this is the New York I know.
Yes, and I said that to many people that have been complaining nonstop on Twitter over the whole thing. I'm like, you have to understand that the franchise needs to evolve with society. We cannot
Hmm.
be stuck in the same formula we had 10 years ago because, like you said, like New York City 10 years ago is not the same New York City that is right now. And also, I hate when people feel like the old Ronnie represented the city. I like they're not representing the city. They represent a block in the city in the Upper East Side.
Hmm.
That's all they talk about. That's all they know. That's all. Like I said, that's a place that most people just go when you are in your 50s.
Right.
But the new Ronnie actually makes more sense as a representation of what New York City really is. Diversity. People who live in Brooklyn. People who live like downtown, midtown. People who think that Tribeca is an up and coming neighborhood.
It's hilarious to me. Well, the thing about Tribeca, that whole Tribeca thing that's so funny to me is like I know I don't agree with her that it's of course here, but I understand a little bit of what she meant by it's like I don't ever come down here because like unless I don't
Yeah.
know where you lived about in the city when you were in the city, but like I've never lived or associated with people who or been friends with people that like we go out in Tribeca. So like I would probably be like her honestly and go down and be like, where am I? Like, can we go to the West Village?
Yeah, exactly. Like I lived in the West Village when I was in the city. So what
Mhm.
I know is like West Village is village and
Yeah.
up. Like usually like
Yes.
going down to Soho was like shopping experience more than anything
Sure.
else.
Yeah, and
And
I can get around and know I can like tell someone a good dinner spot like kind of in the outskirts of Soho, but then
yeah.
like once you get down past Soho, I got nothing for you. Tribeca, Eye, it's a wrap for me.
I mean, Five Eyes, like, I don't know. I always felt like it was kind of like when you are in college and you have those like really like preppy like clubs, like those
Hmm.
like those like frat houses that only wear like papa color shirts. That's what I think is the people who evolved to live in Five Eye.
Completely agree. I always say it remind because I went to college in Boston. It reminds me of Boston because it's like quiet, preppy, kind of douchey. Like it's just like it doesn't feel like New York to me down there. Shout out
Yeah,
to
I
anyone who
agree.
lives in Friday. I'm sorry
I
for
know.
dragging your town.
This is all with love. I mean, It's true. Like if when you live in New York City, you tend to shade whatever neighborhood you live in. Like for
Right.
example, like when I lived in New York City, like thinking of going to like Brooklyn was like, do I need a passport to go there? Like what's
Well,
happening?
be careful. I live in Queens, so don't drag Astoria.
I'm not dragging Astoria. I'm just saying like most people will be
No, I
like,
know.
is that feeling like every person who lived in a different neighborhood tends to shade somebody else's in a different neighborhood. It's like I don't know if it's like a
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
For the next season of the show, I feel like I think we need another Brooklyn wife somewhere in like a different part of Brooklyn. I was thinking it'd be fun to have someone who like lives in the Bronx or in like Long Island City or something. Like I just want to get a couple more of the or Harlem. We still have no one living in Harlem. I
Yeah.
think we could knock off some more neighborhoods and find some more interesting people out there.
I mean, definitely. I think that's what always tell people. If you are stuck on this idea that we need to have the old Ronnie back, then w- honestly, it will not have the same success. It will not have the same effect because it will be like kind of like rehashing old drama that it failed at one point. Like the fact that Bravo needed to reboot the whole entire franchise, they knew that they need to start doing it because the future of like every single other city is going to be that. I mean, we're not gonna be able to have the same ladies for the next 20 years because like
It's
what's
not
gonna happen?
sustainable. Yeah, and Dorinda has a quote that I think kind of applies to Housewives in a way, but she said like if you drive long enough, like if a cop tails you for long enough, you'll get pulled over for something. She said that on
Yes.
Housewives at one point, essentially implying that like if someone's watching you with a close eye, you're gonna get in trouble eventually for something. Like no one's perfect. You're inevitably you, something will crack. And like, there's no way that these women can stay on these shows for like 20 years. I mean, OC, we were venturing into the 20-year mark with some of them. Like, you can't stay on TV that long and not kind of fall apart and not run dry with content. Like, eventually, it's just kind of your time to do something else. And it can't be. It should just be okay, and we just kind of like let them go off into the distance and find some new ladies, or let. I'm ready for like a franchise to just kind of disappear, and we'll just be like, that's
Disappear.
over now. You know,
Well, I mean,
I don't know which one that would be, to be honest, at this point, but yeah.
I mean, if it's want to go, I don't know. Like, it would be so hard to say goodbye to like most of these franchises, to be honest.
It would probably. I love Orange County, but it would. I feel that it would have to be that. And
I
I'm loving
agree.
this season. I could keep watching this forever, to be honest with you. It's just, I don't know.
It feels like it needs like a send off.
Yeah,
Like,
nothing new is gonna happen there. It's gonna be the same thing over and over again. We could just bid farewell, or we keep it going. I'll still watch it regardless, but
yes, I mean, we are gonna watch the show regardless. I do think the Orange County has, lost a lot of the charm, and it's kind of like regaining it this season, perhaps.
it's a great
Um,
season. Yeah.
and I don't know what's your stand or on the whole Heather versus everybody, but I love Heather, and I just love that she was meant to be like the person the cast wanted to make people think that she's like the villain of the show, and everyone is like, wait a minute, why is everybody piling on Heather this season? Like, what's happening here? It
I
was so
think
random.
right. I think with Heather, there's a big thing that we don't see is I think she acts up when the cameras are down and to production, and is a little micromanagey about like, well, don't like. I don't know. Watch What Happens Live. Gina and Emily were on, and they were saying that she like puts her hand at the camera and is like, "Stop, please stop. That's not going to make it in," or things like that. Like, I feel like there's a leather side to her that we don't always totally see, and we never will see that. That being said, I love her for the show. I think she should always be on it because we need a villain, and if not a villain, we need just like someone who's different than
Yes,
like the basic blonde ladies of Orange
Orange
County.
County.
But with the feud, like I do think they're being like Heather is it's a lose-lose for her always with them. And I understand what she's saying where she's like, I couldn't talk about it, but like if I did talk about it, you would have judged me. So like what was I supposed to do? And Shannon, unfortunately, is I think she's great television. I love her for my TV. none of her points are landing this season at all because they have footage of her just wrecking every point she's making and every defense she's making about her situations. But this week, did you love seeing her just fully like melt into her chair when she learned that Heather was $55 million richer than her?
Oh, she was like, when she said like, I'm jealous. I'm like, yeah, you should because $55 million
That's a
is
lot
that's a
of money.
lot of money.
I mean, that is crazy.
I think the fact that Tamra was the one who was saying it, and you can hear in her voice that like jealousy mixed with like I'm trying to like make it a big issue, and then Shannon once again some like being shocked and like quiet for like 2 seconds, and
Yeah.
she didn't know what to say. That to me was like TV gold because it's true. Like Terry said, like $55 is not fucking money. It's like fuck everybody you know's money kind of thing. He said it in
Right.
the previous episode. Um, and I knew that they were going to make this a big deal, even though it shouldn't be. I mean, Heather is being too nice with these ladies, trying to explain to them why she didn't tell them. If I was Heather, I'd be like, well, guess what? That's not your fucking business. Like, I sold my
Yeah.
house. Yeah, like,
What do you
what
want
do
to
I want to
know?
tell you?
That's how much my house is worth. What do you want to know?
Yeah.
Right, you're right. I mean, it isn't really their business, but and then just to see Gina be like, "Well, I wish you would have told me about the house. I thought we were friends. I wish I could have $500,000, Heather."
I have a deep inside. I think. I mean, I know she was never gonna get it, but I have a feeling Gina probably wanted to be involved with the selling of the house now that she's getting into real estate.
Now, Eddie, no, you thought she wanted to. If she on that reunion is like, I just wish you would have thought of little old me when you were selling the house. I'm like, girl, this is gonna be your first listing.
Not even the guest house. Not even like the dog
No,
house.
no, she couldn't sell that.
It was really awesome to see the judge from Million Dollar Listing. I always love when like Bravo shows kind of like overlap, like it was like a Marvel multi-universe kind of thing. I love it.
Mhm. I've
His,
I know who everyone is, but I've actually never watched Million Dollar Listing LA. I only had watched New York a little bit.
I miss New York. That was one of my favorite shows on Bravo because Frederick, it was insane. Steve Gold was fucking hot. I mean,
So
that man is
hot.
hot. Like he can. I mean, he literally was shirtless half of the episodes, and I was like, I don't care how you're selling. I'm not paying attention to what you're saying. I just want to look at you and your abs 24/7.
He's so hot. I think he's
So
the hottest they've ever had on Bravo, to be honest.
I agree. I have to agree. That man is. Oh, and he looks hot in every look. Long
Uh-huh.
hair, short hair, no hair, whatever. That man can pull anything off.
Totally agree.
But Million Dollar Listing Los Angeles is like remains like one of Bravo's crown jewels when it comes to non-Bravo shows. They still like pull really high ratings. The drama is still there, and it's messy. It's a messy show. It has nothing to do with real estate, anyways. It's just how
Right.
messy they are.
Right, right. No, yeah, it's all drama, which that's I'm here for that.
That's right. What is also dramatic, I think, is that we have a new Salt Lake City and a newbie who's not afraid to shake things up.
Hmm.
What do you think about that? That was drama. Drama since the moment that she walked into the scene.
So I think Bravo was really smart to not bring. They could have brought her into the show prior to this because she was just literally. I always love when they bring someone on the show like that, where like the camera, if you just turned it, they were like standing there the whole time. They just like weren't cast yet. They could have brought her in earlier. It was perfect timing to bring her in now because it's a nice little like, send off to the Jen storyline, but also we still can like kind of tangentially have some of her drama because she is like the vault of all of the things that Jen said about these ladies, which is hilarious to me that she's talk shit about everyone, which I think we all kind of knew that. I don't know why Heather never like registered that. She watched the show back and it's like How did you never register this woman was not really your friend? And
Thank
is Monica
you.
really gonna break the news of that to you?
I've been saying this for the longest time. I'm like, Heather, girl, wake up. That woman is not your friend. She literally called you Shrek. Like, that's not a friend. That is
If someone
not a
call,
friend.
no, if someone called me Shrek, I'd be like, okay, I'm out. Like
This
we're
is.
done. I'm gonna move on.
Oh my gosh. And the fact that Monica was left with so many bombs that she can use and drop like all over the season, I think is interesting. I mean, I'm not kind of. I mean, I'm a Barlow, whatever people call Barlow people. I don't know. I don't know Barlow's
You
like.
are or aren't a
I'm.
Barlow
I
head.
am. I love Barlow.
Oh, same, same. I love Lisa.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, each housewife has like the
Yeah, I
thing
don't
they're
know what
saying
her. I don't
is.
think does she have a thing? Are they
Oh,
just like
Barlow.
Diet Coke heads or something like that? I don't know. I feel like that's good. If she hasn't used that, she needs to. I
I
just came
think
up with that. Diet Coke heads.
you need to trademark because that sounds like a great name.
And I promise you she wouldn't catch the joke in it.
But I appreciate Monica also. She is Latina, Hispanic, and I'm Hispanic too, so I like to see representation on Bravo shows. But I'm not happy that she's going to be going after my Lisa. But we need that dynamic. We need somebody who shakes stuff up so the show can move along and move like forward. Um, I'm just curious to know if Monica is the one involved in that scene in is it Bermuda? At the beginning in the call
The
intro,
Heather thing.
Heather. Yeah, I'm like intrigued if like anything that she knows about the ladies is something that she drops during the show, and then Heather finds out and she freaks out.
So I've had a couple thoughts about it. I think that it may be. I think you may be right about it being somewhere in there. I wonder if it's something that Jen did that Monica revealed or said that Monica revealed that has Heather like freaking out, so upset because she's like, I didn't know that my friend did this to me, or maybe I don't know. I also don't know like what it could be. I also thought that maybe it's something like Mormonism adjacent. Like I
Yeah,
don't know about the church or I'm not sure. I like that we don't know. Like I like that I'm hopeful that they told all the ladies this season is tight-lipped. Don't talk about things that are happening because I feel like no one knows anything that's gonna happen.
I agree. Now that I think about it, you're right because we might know where they filmed. We might know like a little bit of like event that happened because they always get leaked. But when it comes to storylines, we don't know. Like I did not know that this fight between Lisa and Monica was going to be like from day one. Like
Hmm.
Monica started like talking shit about Lisa from like the moment she got on the show. I knew that she had like a fight like face to face argument with her because there's some like leaked video from an event. I think it was from Whitney Rose event or something.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy, and I'm happy that we actually get to watch the show and discover the storylines as we are watching the
Like the
show.
good old days of
The good
Bravo,
old days,
right?
pre Twitter, pre social media.
I know, I miss it. I miss it so much. Yeah, I know. I'm really excited. I think that's what's making me most excited about this season is that we're going in a little bit blind on everything. Because even in the trailer, I was surprised to see the stuff about Whitney and her husband. I didn't realize that that was something that was happening.
Happening.
But if all of these things were happening in like old school New York or Beverly Hills, I feel like all or OC, the press would know about everything because they
Yes.
leak it. The ladies.
I mean, obviously, I can't say that leaking is like, oh my gosh, the worst thing because as Bravo content creator, we are like looking for anything to like,
Hmm.
leak.
Right.
That's kind of like part of like the game. But I do appreciate when even though we know where they filmed or the cast, we still get surprises, and that's what I appreciate about this show. Like I'm enjoying New York perhaps for that reason because I walk into the show knowing absolutely nothing beside the cast who was
Hmm.
casted for the show, but I didn't know what they were gonna be fighting over caviar or toilet paper or Aaron not fitting inside enough,
Right,
that kind of
right.
shit, you know. So I'm
Hmm.
enjoying that part of the show. Not like there's so many franchises that we walk into them and we already know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like when's that fight gonna happen? When's this dinner gonna happen? All that stuff. Totally. Yeah, I agree. It makes the shows more fun and more watchable, more interesting.
I know. And talking about stuff that have been like leaked, I wanna know what's your take on the whole Lindsay and Carl calling off the wedding because that is taking the Bravo universe by storm. This is like Scandal 2.0.
So, well, because there's new stuff that happened today, but or like in the past couple days. But my first, I and this may be unpopular, but I didn't love them as a couple. I love both. I had loved both of them on the show, and I actually wanted them both to find someone and be happy and all that stuff. I just felt that they went so fast through their relationship,
Thank you.
and not enough people were like willing to come back, like ask them questions about why the pace needed to be that. And Danielle's, um, the way Danielle went about it was awful, but the intention is correct. Like there should be
Yeah.
questions, but like I guess I shouldn't say the intention. Her instinct was correct to ask questions. The way she like crying at an engagement party, I would be so mad if someone was doing that. Like at that point, it's like, babe, like, can you just like have some fun? Like you gotta let it go. So I didn't love her delivery of it, but I did agree with her sentiment that just the timeline freaked me out, especially because in the past, Lindsay had been very vocal about she's ready to do it all really quick. And so she found someone
Yes.
who was down for it and said yes. And she actually happened to know them really well. And so she's like, okay, well, let's do it. Let's like get this thing going. And of course, it crumbles because you can't push the pace of things like that. They just have to happen on their own time, unfortunately.
I agree 1,000% with you.
Mm.
I said this when the show was airing last season, and everybody came after me saying like, "Oh, you're a hater. You hate Lindsay." I'm like, I don't hate her because I don't know her that well, but I don't think that they make sense. And people were like, "Oh, but they know each other for 10 years." Yes, as friends,
Right.
people who don't live under the same roof 24/7, people who maybe hang out during in the city over the weekends and maybe a summer while they're filming.
Hmm.
This is a different dynamic. Even if you know somebody for 20 years, that doesn't mean that you're gonna get engaged and married in within a week. That doesn't work that way. That doesn't last that way.
Mm-mm.
And oh, I people came after me for saying that, and I'm saying, and I don't want to say I told you so because I don't wish bad on people, but I saw that comment from miles
Yeah.
away. You know,
No, I agree. And then the most recent thing to come out was through Dumois or something where that apparently, and blind items are annoying
oh
sometimes
yeah,
to me, but so take it with a grain of salt. But apparently he had been cheating on her for a while. The one other part of it that I'm hesitant to believe until we see it play out is that there was a pregnancy scare. I'm like, okay, well, maybe, but like I think I don't know that I'm gonna believe a blind item on a pregnancy scare, but if there was cheating, that is beyond messed up. So I hope that that's not the case for everyone's point of view, or everyone who's involved in the situation. But and then I had someone actually DM us, like a listener who was like, I have one of my best friends was invited to the wedding and like can no longer get their money back on any of the hotels, like any of the hotel booking because of how close it was canceled.
ooh,
So
that
there's
sucks.
a little
I
tea.
I did hear that he. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but that he waited this long because he also had a partnership with the hotel where they were staying for the wedding, so he could get also the money for the partnership. I mean, he couldn't like call it off before,
Yes,
so
yes,
for advertisement purposes,
yeah.
um, I just think it's so freaking fucked up because like looking back, like what, like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, was like her like baby like bridal shower, and they were like
Mm.
there. She was so happy that she got a freaking dildo as her like bridal present. I mean, I'm like that kind of shit. I'm like, dude, like the flower. Maybe I mean also they're filming, so they need content for the show, but for some reason when the news dropped that they were calling it off, I
Hmm.
was like, why do I feel like I knew this was going to happen?
It's just you can't go that fast. It just rare. It stresses me out when I hear about people who push the pace like that, especially in today's age. Like it's like I feel like I don't know about you, but like my grandparents got married after like a month of dating, and they were together for their whole life. They didn't have phones or social media. Like life wasn't the same that it is now. Now life moves so fast. People's attention spans are so short. Like you can't trust that people aren't gonna like change after. Also, you don't like know someone after a year.
Yes, yes,
You
I
know.
agree. I mean, my grandparents also had kind of the same experience. They like grew up together from the
Hmm.
same area, the same town. They got married when they were like at that point, like getting married like at 17, 18 was like a thing. I'm like, oof, thank God I wasn't born in that time because being married at 18 sounds like
Awful.
torture.
Yeah. When am I gonna be a hoe?
I know. I had my whole face in my like 20s. I like come on, like I need to go through that to like, to get it out of my system.
Right. I
Like
gotta be a hoe.
right?
Well, Carl is a fuckboy for life, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just shocked that the most stable quote unquote couple out of the summer house is Kyle and Amanda. Out
I
of all the
know.
people, I mean, what we call stable, they at least seem the most stable out of that show. It's crazy.
Well, they know how to. Amanda knows how to deal with his antics
Yeah.
and be able to push through it. And I feel like he's gotten so much more approachable and nice as the seasons have evolved. You don't tell anyone, but I really like him now, which I never liked him before.
I like him too. I I always defend him because a lot of people come for him based on his age. Like, oh, he's 40. He shouldn't be doing what he's doing. I'm like, fuck you.
He's got a
Because
million. He's a millionaire. He's got a multi-million dollar business. He's on a
business.
TV show. He's successful. He can have fun on the weekends.
Thank you.
I also know, I know some people, I'm good friends with a relative of his, and then also know some people who like know him just socially, and everyone says he's legit the nicest guy. Like have
Yeah.
nothing but the best things to say about him. And that he likes to have fun. So I think he in the past was a bit misogynistic. I'm not gonna say that his slate is clean of that,
Yeah.
but I do think that he's
He's like
he's more mellow now.
mature. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He
mature
like
at
he
40 finally.
yeah, like I mean, he got it on the show like when he was like late 20s. Late 20s Kyle was different than 40-year-old Kyle. And that
Hmm.
happens in life too. And um, also the fact that, that since he got married, I think he also kind of like realized like, okay, I'm gonna still partying, but I'm also a married man, so I'm gonna play the part right.
Hmm.
Last season, I think it was a great season for him, even though he made that comment about Carl, and I was like, you cannot say that about your friend and coworker. That sounds so unprofessional. About talking about your business partner on a table about his drug usage. That's not a conversation that should happen in the Hampton without him
No.
being present. But he took accountability for it. He apologized, and that's why they're still friends right now. And I think that's why he's on my good side because knowing when to say I'm sorry and mean it and like move forward, that it shows character. A lot of people, especially on TV show, are not able to do that because they feel like they're always right. You
Hmm.
know.
No, you're right. You're right. He is able to do that, which is great.
Oh my gosh! You know what show I'm kind of like dreading to air? That's
Oh
New
my God, what?
Jersey. New
Oh,
Jersey.
I know. Well, we have some time on that.
Yeah, and it's been filming, and I love Jersey because I grew up in Ridgewood. That's where they filmed pretty much the whole entire first season. but I'm so scared. I'm so
It's
scared
gonna be tough. I thought this
because
past season was tough.
oh, it
Just it was
was,
just a lot.
it
And no
was.
one and the thing is no one's right. Like on the sides of things, I feel like everyone's fucked up and some have done things that are wrong in some way and people are with some questionable partners. Some people all are with some questionable partners. The husbands meddle and all the drama, all of them do. Like everyone has a hand in the drama. Like I'm shocked that they didn't do a shakeup and we're
Me
just
too.
living in this cast again because I don't know how they want to be around each other.
It's gonna be interesting because I do know that when it comes to interaction, it's gonna be a very awkward season. That I do know for a fact.
Well,
But I
yeah, yeah. It's like who's are Melissa and Teresa ever going to film together?
no,
So
no.
how are they going to do things? I don't really understand how a show can film around that.
We will have to wait and see how that looks. I do think that at least by bringing like Rachel Fuda and Danielle Cabral into the show last season is kind of giving Jersey a new set of wins, so
Hmm.
the attention goes to a different cast because we've been dealing with the whole Gorgas versus Judas for more than a decade.
Hmm.
And as viewers, it's exhausting, especially when it's hard to express your opinion without a whole entire fan base coming after you. Because if like I love Teresa, right? If I say anything good about her, I get the Gorgas like fans like as an
Right,
avalanche. Like
right.
whoa! I'm like, hello, I'm just saying something nice about somebody that I like. It's not that deep. And that's another thing. People, it's a show. It's not freaking rocket science. Chill, enjoy the show, and watch it evolve. And we talk about it, and we are gonna disagree, and to agree to disagree, and move on and have a fun conversation. What
Right.
happened to simply saying that's a great show? Fuck it.
Right, right. Yeah, just being like I respectfully disagree. Like I don't love Teresa, but I love her for the show and I don't think she needs to go anywhere, but that doesn't mean that we can't like have a conversation because like you like her and I don't like her.
Exactly.
It's so stupid.
I I I at the beginning when I first started making content for like shows and whatever, I always felt very um like defensive with all the content creators because I always felt like they were coming for me personally. I was like, so I did something really like crazy, which was I invited somebody who I always had like issues on Twitter for some
Mhm.
damn reason, maybe because tweets and messages read wrong or whatever. It always felt like we had a beef, and I was like, you know what? Come to my show and let's have a conversation. And because I did that, we became really good friends. It
Yeah, I think
it
we're
was
also hiding behind keyboards and like behind
yes.
phones, you know?
So it's like I always tell people like, hey, like even though we are not agreeing on a show, it doesn't mean that we are going to agree on a different show, or simply understand that we love Bravo and that's why we watch the shows to like
Hmm.
interact with other people because no like I have most of my friends don't watch Bravo. So my happy place is like being here, like with you, talking about Bravo on a Thursday night. You
Right.
know, so it's just like how it's supposed to be. Um, I'm just reading the comments. Like I love Andy from Beverly Hills, and I'm not gonna mention anything negative about other content creators. So yeah, I love like we have a community here that is great because like I told you before, the best part of going to BravoCon, it's meeting content creators face to face and sit down and just have a cocktail and just realize that this is like fucking amazing. Just that we have the opportunity to do this kind of shit.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree. It's not that deep, guys.
That's right. It's
Not at
not
all.
that deep.
No.
And you know, another franchise that's coming back is Beverly Hills. It's coming back on November 1st. what are you expecting to watch? Because there's a lot of talk. Obviously, the whole Kyle with Mauricio. I don't want to get involved with the whole Morgan thing because I'm always been against speculating about people's sexuality. I don't like that. But the whole Mauricio, with Kyle, and then we have Erica, Jane having a whole residency in Vegas. What are your thoughts about Beverly Hills?
Um, I think it's kind of not. I am not optimistic about what is going to unfold actually on the season. I'm worried that everything has happened post them filming, and I'm curious to see what of the Umansky drama is actually on the show or not, because I'm not convinced we're going to see barely anything.
Do you see that they picked up the cameras when they released all those like comments and stuff, like of their divorce?
Yeah, I definitely think there'll be a little bit at the end, but I just mean like the buildup. What made Scandival so fun was that the show was airing while things were unfolding. You could catch little like snippets here and there of like when flirtations were happening. With this, Kyle is so much smarter than those the kiddos in West Hollywood. So I just don't think that she's going to um, show her cards on it until it's actually out. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not convinced that it's gonna be amazing. So I don't know. I'll watch it. I
I mean,
love the ladies, but
I really hope that they did pick up the cameras because even though we might not see the full like divorce process because they're not getting divorced as we speak, or at least not that we know of. I mean, they said separated or working through it. Do I think that it might be for the show to get like a hype? Maybe because Beverly Hills might be like one of the highest rated franchises
mhm.
housewives wise, but it's kind of like losing its spark. It's been losing for a while, you
Yeah,
know.
I do think I enjoyed. Um, I thought last season was like a solid B minus, and then the season
Yes.
before that was like great. The Erica season when it first all unfolded was great. Last season was fun when Sutton was in the mix. When Sutton and Garcelle are doing little shady things, I'm always having
I
a good
love it.
time. Where the show would lose me was when Rena would manipulate stories that weren't real. But she's gone, so
Yes.
and also maybe there are some things in a la Salt Lake City that are going to unfold that we have no idea about. Could be. There's not been a lot about the season that came out outside of the separation. So
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people said that too. They were like, by now we will know everything if Lisa Rena was on the show.
right,
Because
right.
obviously she was leaking information to a lot of content creators. And it, that's the thing. Like, I mean, many housewives use content creators for like leaking, and that's not like a big secret. I mean, many Bravo Labs reach out to like content creators and podcasters for like exclusive whatever. But when somebody like Lisa Rena goes out and start trashing the same people that she kind of like allure into like giving them information and like blocking them, people are gonna talk. And
Hmm.
many people have come forward and said like, I mean, she blocked me or she like said something really mean to me. Guess what? I'm gonna expose you because you use me,
Yeah.
And now that you've been exposed, you're trying to like kind of like erase the past or what you did or whatever. So I ain't happy that she's gone because as now we have no idea what's happening. But what they had said, like in little interviews and whatever, like they started to promote the show, so we know they're talking about Dorit and PK, which I sometimes I even forget that he's still on the show. Uh,
Hmm.
that comment that Erica made at BravoCon that like they were the next couple going into
Oh, that's
Splitsville.
true. I forgot about that. That is going to be in this. Yeah.
Yes. And then we have now the Kyle and Mauricio. And for what I heard, Sutton gets into it too, which I'm excited because I love her behavior. Like that she
Same.
is like she's so quirky and her I don't know, there's something about Sutton that is very like warm. I don't know. There's makes me
Yeah,
look
and
good.
she's unapologetically herself, and she's not calculated. She's just kind of her, which is makes for a good, reality personality, which is why she works so well. Others could
Yeah.
take notes from her because she's so authentically herself. She's not like trying to be anyone else, you know?
Yes, and that's why her friendship with Garcelle is so organic because unlike other franchises where you can actually, see that these people are um, having an alliance and not a real friendship. You see Garcelle and Son hanging out all the time. You see them
Mhm.
flying together everywhere. You see them partying. They go and hang out with their kids too. Like that is what a true friends, do. So I do believe that the fact that they are not so calculated in like what to do is what their friendship work.
Yeah, I
I just
totally
love them.
agree. Yeah, I agree. I love them both. I'm excited. I'm hopeful that they are have great seasons.
Yes, yes. I hope so too because I want it to be fun. I think we as viewers have been so getting used to get like franchises with like the legal problems like Erica Jane in the Widows and Orphans and the Tom Girardi situation. We were so dragged into it
Hmm.
that it felt like we were watching like cops, and I was so annoyed by that. I'm like, I get it, and it's important to talk about these heavy topics, but we need sometimes the housewife to be fighting over caviar. I like that, or a cheese platter,
Yeah,
because
totally.
it's so like trivial fight, and it's so vain that uh, it remind me why we started watching the show in the first place.
Yeah, I completely agree. It can't be that deep all the time. From that's the lesson today, right? It's not that deep from both the content creators as well as the shows. It's okay to
It's
be
not that
fight
deep.
over petty things.
Yes, thank you. Sometimes I read the comments on like some I don't know how that happened, but I always see like some content creators throwing shade to a different one, and you kind of get who they're talking about because you see what's happening. I'm like, guys, it's not that deep. Like, chill. Nobody's trying to like comfort you. It's like relax. I I think that so far, Bravo is having like a renaissance when it comes to their shows. Like we had a great season with Orange County. We have a great start with Salt Lake City. A great cast with New York. So I'm kind of like looking forward to all the shows that are starting over the fall and the winter.
Yeah, I'm excited. I agree. I think we're cooking with some good stuff. I'm also excited for Potomac as well, and yeah, it's gonna be good. I think we have some good stuff lined up.
What's happening with Potomac? That's another one that I have no idea what's happening.
I know there's nothing, which I that makes me feel excited that there's nothing out besides that fight. But the fight's not apparently not going to be in the show, so
Yes.
because it was filmed after they finished.
And that was wild. When I
That
saw
was
that
wild.
video,
That was that they were fighting.
yes. And Candice grabbed that bottle, and the other lady grabbed it from her.
Yeah,
That's fucking crazy. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that Atlanta. What do you feel about this season? What do you
Atlanta was
think?
a mess. It was a mess, but it's yeah. It's clearly the end of an era for them. They're gonna have to do something different. I don't think they need to get rid of everyone because Kenya, Candy, and I don't know, Sheree, uh, like could stay and work with a group of four new women and make a
Thank
good
you.
show. Like they can make a good show, but unfortunately, and I actually really like Drew too, um, but I just don't think that the rest of them need to be there. Get rid of all the friend ofs. Like let's bring in like I loved the soft reboot that New York did for season 5 when they got rid of like half the
Half of the
cast, brought
cast.
in all new half new women and let like both sides kind of start to figure out who they want to be friends with. I feel like that is a good kind of reset that they could do. I don't the city Atlanta is very small, like the city itself. I mean, it's a big city, but I feel like everyone knows each other. That doing a full revamp, like New York is different in that way. Like they can find a whole new friend group.
Yeah.
I think in Atlanta, I don't know this for a fact, but I get the vibe that it would be hard to just like clean slate, new girls without the other girls just being somewhere there, or like people being friends with those women, or like the New York ladies aren't friends with any of those women on Old New York,
Yes,
you know? So I don't think a clean slate is what we do, but kind of like a get rid of half, keep half sort of situation.
I agree, and I'm happy that you think that Kenya, uh, Candy and maybe Shure should stay because I agree too. I mean, I like Sonia as like her, her, not
Yeah, she
as
seems
like
like a
her
great
as a
person.
housewife.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. Like she's a great person. She's successful. She's funny with her family. But to be honest, her solo scenes never got me like interested
no,
on her, or like her like business venues were never like something that I was like, okay, let's watch this. Oh my, Mommy Nation, yes, I'm into it. No, you
no
know,
one cares. No,
no one cares. So like, okay, like she's pregnant now. I'm happy that she, I mean, she got that because she went through that horrible experience she went through, you know. So I'm happy for her that she's thriving. Send her off now.
hmm
Goodbye, you know. And and Marlo, that was to me. I still stand on the point that Marlo was a horrible friend of, but at least as a friend of, she has a little like input on the show.
hmm
As soon as she got a peach, it was like she's still. I feel like she's working as she's like still in the casting process where she
it's
needs to
bad.
like overproduce everything. And like
We got to
time
bid
to go.
farewell to her. It's got to be the end. We can't. She's been on, and the other thing about her is like, I think sometimes we forget she's been on the show since season 5,
Yes.
since or 4, the season wherever they go to Africa. That season, she goes on that cast trip with them.
Does she pay for everything because she wanted to
Yes, because
be
she wanted
on
to
the
be on the
show?
show. Yeah, like she was there before Candy and Todd were together. Like she's been in the mix for so long. If you've been in the mix for so long and Bravo is still not interested in having you be putting you on payroll, like I think that there's some reasons why, and they should have trusted their gut on that back
I
before, because it just
thank you.
it didn't work.
No, no, and when I tell people the reason why Atlanta has gone downhill from the last season and now was because she was given a peach, and people are like, no, but she's the only one clocked in. I'm like, no, she's not clocked in. In her head, she's still in the casting process, and what happened is you overproduce everything. Everything around Marlo seems so fake and overproduced that as a viewer, I'm not enjoying it. It needs to look like organic for me to like get into somebody.
Yeah,
I'm so upset that we didn't get to see Kenya's soft opening of her
so
hair salon.
weird. It's so
I mean,
bizarre. I don't get it. Why?
bizarre.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And like she was supposed to be the one introducing Cynthia on the show because
Right.
they filmed previous scenes before Cynthia went to that lunch or whatever, and I'm like that doesn't make any sense. And then we get a whole like scene with like Marlo and this guy like on the season finale. Like I like why it was so unnecessary. There was nothing that moved the story here. Instead of using those 10-15 minutes for us to get to know them as a couple that we all know it's just for the show,
hmm
give us Kenya's soft opening scene because it had a whole cast. Eva was there, Claudia was there,
Right.
Cynthia was there, everyone was there except Marlo, and
Yeah. It just
it was fishy to me.
it. Well, I do think though that they're setting Marlo up for like the end of her story, like because it they like she's met a man, she is she like had that event for the foster children, people who have been fostered, and like I think she ended the season in a nice like place, and she wasn't fighting with anyone at the end because they essentially just told her like to shut up and stop fighting. And I think she's just like gonna move on and go off into the distance, and we don't have to hear from her again. That's what I hope for her.
That's my hopes too.
And
That's
but Kenya doesn't have like a they didn't wrap up Kenya's story. I don't think we're done with Kenya. Like they're gonna keep her in the mix. She has a lot to deliver. She is an A plus 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 housewife. And when she was on, yeah, I the Carlos King interviews were a bit much for me in certain ways, but I did love what she said. How she was like, I was so bored. Like I'm down to like go at it with people and like have fun and read people but nothing's happening, and the only thing that's happening is this woman is just being mean for no reason about my child.
I agree.
Yeah, so love you,
I mean,
Kenya. Kenya's one of my faves.
yeah, and what people don't know is like she truly love her fans. Like she is somebody who shows interest on getting to know the fans, and I
Hmm.
appreciate when a housewife is like that. You know, when some of the other cast members in that cast are rude to people who watch the show. You know, so
You have to be nice to the fans. People who go about that and aren't, I truly don't understand who they think they are.
yes.
In the grand scheme of life, your little time on a reality show is likely not going to mean anything. Like you're just a person. So like be nice.
Yeah. Be nice to the people who keep you on the show because yeah,
Correct.
producer might keep you on the show, but they make the decision because they know that you have a fan base. The
Hmm.
moment the fans start turning their back at you is when they let you go, Lisa Rena.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I always question when Bravo Labs in particular are not gracious with their fans. I question who they are as a person. I question why they should be on a show. Because if you don't want to have people asking you for a photo and introducing themselves to you and be like, "Hey, I watch your show. I'm a big fan," and you give them like a nasty attitude, maybe you shouldn't be on a reality TV show. I actually witnessed somebody that we actually spoke about on this episode, but I'm not gonna mention who that person is or what show they are in. I witnessed how they treated another content creator, and I was appalled.
Yeah.
You know, uh, so when I have witnessed those moments, I always said like, if you are not nice to the people who a talk about you on their content or b are their your fans, then just pack it up and go home and don't be on a reality TV show. You know.
Totally. Yeah, it doesn't take that much energy to be nice. It takes more energy to be a dick.
Yeah, that's right. Fuck. It is true. Don't be a dick.
Seriously. Don't be a dick. It's so much harder to be a dick than it is to be just like smile and be nice to someone.
It's PR 101. PR
Truly.
101. You wanna have fans, you put a goddamn smile on your face.
Right. Someone needs to hire us. We can give them all the keys they need.
That's right. Also, bro, you should hire us to do your castings because we know where we're going with what we're saying.
Yes, I think we're spot on with everything.
And honestly, I think content creators should be more involved in these shows. Bravo, you need to start cutting us checks because we keep the lights on at NBC Universal. Trust me. The only reason why these shows are still on is because we take our time on a Thursday night to talk about them.
That's true. I seriously. We spend way too much of our energy to talk about it to not get paid, okay? Bravo.
That's I had this idea the that I was like shopping around with the people I know who do like showrunners and producers. Like they should have a reality TV show where they take content creators and they put in like in a house or something,
Oh
and
yeah,
just
it
let
would be drama.
the egos and the fights would be so sick because content creators as we are, we have our tiny egos, tiny egos when it comes to our content. So put that in a house like at a summer house,
Hmm.
and just put it in, and it will be like so fucking crazy. And people are like, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. Like, yeah, it is. So let's cook it. Let's
Let's make
make
it
it happen.
happen.
Tom, anything that you wanna promote right now? It's your turn to like. It's your
Oh yes,
platform.
yeah. Go listen to the podcast. So I'm one half of the podcast Dumpster Dive. I host it with my sister. We chat about every other week. We dive into an old reality show that kind of was formative for us as kids. and as formative for our guests. Shows like Flavor of Love, Old School Bravo. We have a new episode coming out next week about Kardashians. And then the other weeks we talk about just what we're watching, which covers Bravo. And if you like reality TV, you can find something in the feed that you'll love, whether that's our recaps of current shows or that's old recaps of shows that you forgot about that you loved. So check it out.
I love that you do recap of Flavor of Love. That was one of my
Mhm.
favorite shows ever.
And you know what? When you go back and watch it, it is still so funny and so watchable. It goes down so easy. It's not all of those the people all of the contestants are genuinely TV gold, but they don't know it, which makes the show just
Yes.
so good. So it's amazing.
I'm just excited that Tiffany Pollard is gonna be on that like House of Villains
Yes.
or whatever. That's my
Mhm.
girl. I'm gonna be rooting for her. She better win it all.
Who doesn't love Tiffany Pollard? She's the
I know.
best to ever do it.
I remember that that reunion with I think what's it called? Bucky, Buck
Yeah,
Wild
Buck
with
Wild.
the shoe at
Yes.
her,
Uh-huh.
and then
Crazy.
Lala got pissed.
Lala Anthony. Yeah. Uh-huh.
She's like, "Bitch, you better not throw a shoe because I'm gonna get you out of the show."
And Buck Wild. What a crazy person. She is a character. Oh, we also did Charm School. I don't know if you watched
Oh,
Charm School, but we were obsessed with Charm School.
uh, those were my shows when reality was so new that people
Mhm.
were just like they didn't know what they were doing.
No,
People
they
were
just
just
went on.
being, yeah, they were just
They're just
going
like, yeah,
on.
I'll do it. So good. So check it out. We cover tons of stuff. So go check that out.
You guys, you heard that? Go check them out and also leave a rate on their podcast because we need you guys to show your love for our product just by simply leaving a podcast review. It helps our podcast to be like noticed. So I always ask you guys to the best way to show us love, in our content is by simply either a like, a follow, or a rate on our stuff. Guys, this has been an amazing night. Tom, thank you so much for joining me on this episode.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again because I had a great time.
Same.
Uh, you guys, and like I said, just make sure to go to our social medias, go to our Instagrams, our podcast, our YouTube channel, Twitter. Go and follow us. You know where to find me. It's Martini with Eddie across the board. And like I always say, besties, say it with me. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I have to find that. Okay, here we go. Bye, besties.